This is a short how to remove the fairings. I'm going to start an oil change and then I'm going to start systematically adding all the stage 2 components. So there's a fair amount, but yeah, first step, take off the fairings. So I like to start out because you have to remove this bottom piece first. So 2 screws underneath, one right here, another one underneath here. There's a bunch underneath or on the inside. Now the thing to bear in mind, so 5 screws, this guy is essentially loose. There are a couple tabs here on how it splices in. So you'll see, and also on this side they have some of the vent hoses. There's a little bracket underneath. So it's a little bit of a pain to release. But you don't gotta force anything. So you can see here, these 2 little tabs. Here we go, that's loose. There we go, that guy's loose right there. And then you got this one underneath here, which is a part I like the least. Oh, there we go. Okay, so a little tab right there. And you just kind of pivot and pull away. So I'm going to release the vent hoses here. They're just press fit. And there you go. Here's that guy, all done. To remove the top, you have this guy right here, which is this guy. One right here. And you got 2 underneath, one right there, one right here, and then the one on the inside here. Then the only thing that's holding this whole guy up are the little tabs. So you literally just get a little pull, pops right off. Here's a look at those guys. Okay, here's the right side. It's essentially the same as the previous. Screw right there, screw right here. There's the one underneath, one right there. Already removed the 2 bottom that connects. Okay, here's that guy removed. I will say sometimes this tab right here is a bit of a pain in the ass. It doesn't always release, and the other parts that it's kind of sandwiched in between. So if you have something like this, it makes it a little bit easier because you can just slide it in there, just a small amount of force, and it pops right out. So I believe this is like a trim panel. Get these on Amazon, super cheap. So good thing to have. All right. And this guy is exactly the same as the previous side. So it's that guy, this bad boy, one right here, another up top, and then that same one. And then it's just those little tabs that'll pop right off. All those screws have been undone. So you should just be able to grab it. It pops right off, so it doesn't take that much force. We're gonna go ahead and remove this guy. And I believe probably those 2 underneath. That one, and then that one. And then this thing is just the same thing, tabs, pulls off. And the other thing to note is this whole carbon under tray or windshield, whatever it's called. It's not held on by any screws. It basically mates into this, and then it has two little tabs and the radiator bracket that'll hold on to. It's obviously super firm once all the other fairings are connected, but as it stands right now, it's just kind of dangling there. So just beware when you pop this guy off that, you know, it might slide down. Okay, there it is. It's got the two tabs right there. So it does take a little bit of force to pop it off, but obviously just pull in this direction and you're fine. And then this whole guy is then just hanging there. It's kind of crazy, the areas where they could have just went plastic, but they still did carbon. But there are those two male ends to the parts that slide into the radiator. Set up right there. Now I'm gonna pop this guy off. And honestly, memory serves, it might just be some tabs right here, and then this whole thing pops off. This is all like one piece. By the way, you have to remove all of this to access your radiator. All right, so that is removed. It was as I remembered. So basically has one little male end that fits into that grommet. And then it has all these tabs that mate to the front of that piece. Pretty much, once you have those disconnected and your mirrors or mirror block offs disconnected, you just run your fingers or use that handy dandy tool if you feel more comfortable, and just lift, pop, 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 and it comes right off. If anything, these are easier to remove than that rubber piece. All right, so I got it started. I just supported the back end, kind of put some pressure on that side, so I wasn't trying to yank on this thin piece. And as you can see, you can start to get in there, and then it's just work your fingers down. There you go. So now this whole side is loose. And then it's just that rubber grommet underneath. Like I said, because that's held on, a little bit of a tighter fitting for whatever reason. All right, looking pretty ridiculous right now. Look how thin it is once you remove all this stuff. Like it is quite a significant difference. All right, so for this whole number plate and everything, again, the windshield, they're just some little rubber spacers / anti-vibration dampener things, like rubber. So I can pull that out right now. But you just remove 1, 2, 3, 4. And this whole guy is good to go. Something else I wanted to share, that when you're removing the mirrors and or putting out the block offs, you have to detach the blinkers, which are all part of the mirrors. It's fed through here, and you're reaching behind there. This is the clip you're dealing with. So you see it's just a pressure fit. You just kind of drop it in there. It's got these little seating tabs. So it's really quite simple, especially when you can see it. Yeah, X-ray vision for if you're doing it before you've popped all this stuff off. But yeah, you're just reaching behind there with your fingers to take it out. Okay, but this guy is now loose. And I mean, no tabs on this guy. Pretty cool shield. Here's all that exposed. And the cool part about this, and again, this is now just sitting here. So I recommend if you're gonna remove this, because I ended up putting some micro scratch right here. It's not happy about it. Maybe I can buff it out. But much easier to remove this if you pop all that off. But I don't know, in the scenario where you're just swapping this out, maybe you're getting a smoked version of that. But now it's like nothing. And so again, the stock one, this is super thick. So I'm assuming they make this to such a thickness. Maybe there's some type of optics set up here, or it's just to design or to handle their claimed top speed with all the aero, which is definitely not getting now. So the other cool thing about this is now when you have it essentially naked, this guy is just press fit into here. So it's completely loose. But yeah, the plan will be to drill the hole right here, have the sensor all good to go. And sooner than later, all of this other junk will be gone. I don't know if I'm gonna fully strip it just yet. I did get confirmation that my race fairings have shipped. So that'll be fun. Fitting race fairings is always a bit of a task. So I'm curious how that fit and finish will be, especially because I have a custom setup, not dissimilar to that, but you know, with the M treatment. But yeah, so these guys will get removed and all that. So it's probably gonna stay in this state for a while. I had wanted to do, this weekend's actually a track weekend where I could have really tried all the stuff with the stage 2 and the tune and all that stuff, but schedule didn't quite work out, so I'm just going to use the time. I won't be riding again until the end of July, it's looking like. So plenty of time to take things off and pop them back on, and then I'll probably test this out on the street, do the shakedown there. Better that than get to the track and have errors. So won't be putting those on yet, but there's just enough life where I think I'll be fine. So here is the naked M1000. As I rotate over here, this is when I stumble over all the carbon on the ground. But yeah, it looks like a single R right now. Curious what the frame difference is and whatnot. Haven't bothered looking into it, so couldn't tell you. But that is a naked M1000RR. Okay, and right here you can see the exposed charcoal canister. This will be removed shortly. And then I'm gonna do all the Samco hose kit. Add this guy on. We'll remove the tank, do all that, air filter. Going to wrap the air box. What else? Oh yeah, well, all the airbox stuff. So that's probably where I'm going to be at today. I'm probably going to let it run because I want to do an oil change. Pre-oil change, you want that oil pretty hot because it lets everything flow through the engine. So when you drain it, you're actually getting most of the old oil out. This oil is just 2 track days, or track weekends. See some guys that they say they'll dump the oil every weekend, the filter every other weekend. I heard that from the service manager at, I think, Long Beach BMW through BT Moto YouTube. Sounded pretty legit if that guy's tracking his bike and that's his setup. So I did not dump the oil after the first weekend, but I also rode pretty light. I was being pretty ginger with this thing, trying to figure it out. So I feel like I wasn't really aggressive. I didn't start picking it up towards the end of the second weekend. So no doubt that oil is just fine, but I went ahead to the dealer, got enough for 3 oil changes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those fresh fluids. Again, probably swap that out with, see if I'm gonna use that. Water wetter or something similar per track day recommendations, just in case you have a spill. You don't want the super slippery OEM stuff, which is, you know, got the antifreeze and all that type of stuff. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to run the water wetter. I want to make some phone calls to see if there's a recommended coolant that's track friendly. Just in case, you know, dot my I's, cross my T's with any possible issues there. But that's that. Okay, just for posterity, since this might be the last time and has all the stock bits. All right. 879 miles. In case you didn't know, that red, as the bike warms up, will slowly creep up until it's only at the, 14 to 16 range. It's just BMW letting you know your motor needs to warm up, and it's not going to let you just rev initially to whatever you want. So you can see it right now, it's slowly, there you go, the 10 just became visible. Something to be aware of, kind of mandatory warm up, but that's more than enough to give it a listen.